When practicing virtue, people might have different motivations owing to the different circumstances they are in. Motivations can be classified in 3 categories: unwholesome, neutral, and wholesome. Nowadays, some Buddhists' motivations for conducting virtuous activities and taking up practice fall into this category. It is because they are only concerned with attaining happiness and comfort in this life, such as having good health, long life, and wealth, or being able to avoid obstacles and suffering. If spiritual practice were to be undertaken only to achieve these aims, no matter how profound the practice itself might be, it would be deemed mundane. It is possible that practicing this way may bring worldly benefits, but no other good karma will ensue. For example, if people practice the great perfection to eliminate physical pain or evil influence, this practice would become a mundane practice. The practice itself is not mundane, but it is motivated by worldly pursuits that turn it into something mundane in the end. For this reason, motivations of this kind are considered unwholesome. Some may question, these people are actually doing good things to others and keeping up with their practice, not killing or stealing. Why use the word unwholesome to describe their intentions? That is because even if one succeeds in reaping the benefits of this life through practice, so what? It is altogether likely that after regaining health, for instance, one may do something resulting in more negative karma, leading to more suffering in the future. Even though the motivation itself is not evil, it remains a potential cause of affliction. It not only will not help end suffering, but more may ensue because of it. Hence, the descriptive word unwholesome is assigned to this type of motivation. The point is that Buddhist teachings are not just some stuff for casual conversation, nor should they be studied as cultural or academic subject. They ought to be applied in managing our daily life. How should it be applied? Here is an example from the Mahayana Abhidharma Sangati Shastra. 3 people were having a meal together. One of them thought, "I'm going to steal something or kill some animals after my meal." Another thought, "I'm going to help releasing some animals or do prostrations afterward." The third person thought, "I just want to fill my empty stomach. Nothing else is planned afterward." They were all having a meal, but because each had a different purpose of eating, the same action resulted in 3 different kinds of karma. Eating, in the case of the one who wanted to kill and steal afterward, was doing evil. Good karma for the one who wanted to do beneficial things afterward, which surely will bring good rewards in the future. Neutral effect for the one who just wanted to fill the stomach, an ordinary daily activity that would not have any particular consequences. They were doing neither good nor bad things when having a meal. However, different motivations ended up causing 3 different results. It shows just how crucial motivation is. As said before, if the purpose of doing something was to satisfy worldly pursuits such as health and longevity, it would be deemed an unwholesome motivation. All the activities done on this premise, whether they are meditation or reciting sutras, are considered just mundane practices that do not lead to enlightenment. Patrul Rinpoche had said that absent genuine renunciation and bodhicitta, if one were to do a 9-year retreat and cut off all associations with others to practice the great perfection full-time, one would not even sow the seed of liberation, let alone other achievements. How terrible not having generated renunciation and bodhicitta! What use is there for other practices when not even the great perfection can sow the seed of liberation? Therefore, making the choice of motivation should never be taken lightly. If the purpose of doing a practice is to obtain happiness or to chase away suffering in this life, it is an unwholesome motivation. Although it is better than not having faith in the Buddha's teachings or being indifferent to cultivating virtue, it does not lead to enlightenment. Thus, practitioners seeking liberation from samsara must not harbor this kind of motivation. It is also stated in the scriptures that such motivation must be given up. So every time we do something good, we should always check our motivation first. For example, when the idea of doing prostrations or liberating animals pops up in our mind, we should ask ourselves why we want to do this. If our motivation is found to be wrong, it must be corrected as quickly as possible. Neutral motivation. Neutral means neither good nor bad. For example, someone invites a friend along to liberate animals, but the friend does not understand the merit and the benefit related to this activity, just goes along having no particular purpose. After the activity has ended, the friend's participation would have resulted in a kind of neutral karma. Maybe someone will question, didn't the friend also save some lives? Why was this karma neutral? It is because the friend did exactly the same thing as everybody else, but with no idea as to why it was done. That makes it neutral. Similar concept can also be found in the secular world. For instance, it is a serious crime if one intentionally kills a person, but not as much so if it happens by accident. On this, the law and the Dharma uphold the same principle. It is stated in the scriptures that if our motivation is found to be neutral, we should rather improve than eliminate it. The reason is that the quality of being neutral and wholesome are relatively closer to each other, whereas being wholesome and unwholesome are poles apart. So while the former can be improved, the latter must be given up. Ordinarily, before we sit down to practice or meditate, we should first examine the motivation carefully. If it was found to be neutral, we should improve it. Otherwise, none of what we do can lead us to enlightenment. The resulting virtuous karma caused by a neutral motivation may be able to bring some temporal rewards, but only very meager ones.